Am I the first travel YouTuber to get a boob job? Let me know in the comments. Not really sure where to begin with this video, to be honest. I mean, if you've been with me for quite some time, you will know that this is very different than what I had going on before. And actually what's funny is that this is 2 months post-op. And in these 2 months, nobody has noticed. The reason that they haven't noticed is because I have been overall wearing baggy sweaters. Number two, they haven't noticed because before I was wearing super padded bras, so I basically look a bit bigger, you know, than I did before, but before it was just all padding. And third, I think people haven't noticed because I didn't go too big. I think I actually got a size that really fits my body type and doesn't look, you know, like some huge unnatural change or something. For all intensive purposes, I basically was a 32A, sometimes not even filling out a full A cup, so I guess there is a double A size as well. I may as well be that. And what I am at right now, of course, it also depends on the bra brand, but overall, I'm a 34C. For me, that is night and day. That is a world of difference. And this video, in a weird way, is just going to be me talking about how happy I am, because this is just something that I have never really talked to many people other than maybe my close friends about, but it's something that I have just struggled with in my life and have kind of gone back and forth of whether getting a breast augmentation was something I wanted to do or if I could just come to accept myself as I am. But to be 100% honest, I am so happy I did this. I guess they do say that plastic surgery should be something that you do for yourself. It shouldn't be with other people's persuasion or feeling like your life is going to be, you know, dramatically different if you get this done, or if you just, you know, can't love yourself without it. I think those are obviously reasons that you should not be doing plastic surgery. But in my case, it's actually a bit different, where my breasts, as they were thankfully never something that anybody else really teased me about. Like, sure, I got a few comments here and there that, you know, I was flat-chested or something, but it was never that much of an issue. It wasn't an issue at all in my romantic relationships. I, you know, never got teased in school. I was almost more accepted because of it in my modeling days. There are so many other things that I have been teased about looks-wise, which is ridiculous, by the way, just saying that, than my breast size. I can without a doubt say that the person who was most bothered about it was me, and I don't know why. You know, I've been trying to figure that out for myself, of why I just felt so uncomfortable in my body. I never felt proportional as I was. I always felt like I wanted to hide that part of myself. And there was, of course, an element where I wasn't confident. And I'm 30 years old now. Like, I have lived with this obviously for basically almost 2 decades of, you know, when you first start puberty. And throughout that whole time, I've had, you know, different phases where sometimes it was better, sometimes it was worse. And what really changed this year was almost a light bulb going off in my head, giving myself permission to do this thing that I know would make me feel so much better. I will admit that a large reason of why I didn't want to go through with the breast augmentation was because I was worried of what people would think. I was worried of, you know, people judging me, of just brushing it off as something superficial and, you know, you don't need to do that, all that kind of stuff. And it was really after a conversation with a new friend I made who I didn't know had a breast augmentation. I found out like months after we had already known each other. She just casually mentioned it one day and I was like, oh my God, I never knew. you? Like, you look fantastic. You look, so natural, so phenomenal. And she said how it was honestly the best decision, she made on a physical level, because it was just a big self-esteem issue for her as well. So after having that conversation with her, it was almost like there was this fire that suddenly got ignited, where I stopped caring so much about what other people would think and really asked myself, is this something that you want to do? Are you truly okay with the risks and the complications that come with getting something like this done? It's obviously not a decision that most people can make just once, and you have, the same implants for life and everything is fine. The majority of people do need to have a reoperation, and obviously this is a lot of money as well. So after asking myself all of these questions and really coming to the conclusion that yes, it was something that meant a lot to me, it was something that I wanted to get done, that's when I started researching like crazy. I had looked into it years before, but I had never concretely really decided that this is something that I was going to do and taking it that seriously, where I now have to be aware of what are the risks that come with it, what are the long-term procedures that I'm going to keep in mind, what kind of things do I have to do before I get the actual surgery. That's one of the main things I will say to anybody who is considering any kind of plastic surgery, where this is not a decision that you should make lightly. You should completely understand the ins and outs of what goes into this operation. What do you have to do before? What do you do after? You have to really be in the best health that you can be to get it safely done. And possibly the most important decision that you will be making is who your surgeon is going to be. So I really was sitting into those questions for quite a while, and also considering whether I wanted to get it done in Canada or whether I wanted to get it done abroad, how that would work. But what actually ended up happening, how I made my decision, as I make many of my decisions, was from a very intuitive level. But obviously all the other factors, all the other physical questions and factors were positively answered as well, where I had Googled breast augmentation in Kiev, Ukraine. And the first doctor who came up, I'm not going to say his name because this is not sponsored and this is not something that I just want people to take lightly. I think if you're actually serious in this, and I would say you'd have to speak at least a little bit of Russian to be able to have it done by this clinic. So if you're actually serious, I'll give you my doctor's name, just DM me on Instagram, but I'm not gonna say it on here because I don't want people to, just make decisions that maybe they shouldn't. But basically, I found a doctor in Kiev, Ukraine that checked all of my boxes, and way better than a lot of the other surgeons that I was seeing, not only in Canada, but also in other countries that I was considering. What I really liked about this surgeon is that not only did he check all my boxes for the safety and the experience. He has 20 years of experience as a surgeon, has won lots of awards, has up-to-date sort of training, but I also just really liked his aesthetic result. To be honest, I had looked at some surgeons' work and I was like, yikes. Like, there are just, surgeons who have a very different aesthetic taste than what I have. I prefer surgery to look much more natural, to not go too big, and to be very conscious about the proportions of where everything goes, if there's too much space, if everything's where it's supposed to be. I'm not going to get graphic here. So in many ways he really felt like the perfect fit for me. I really liked his personality. I liked all the people who worked at the clinic. And so while I would highly recommend that anybody thinking of doing this sort of surgery get multiple opinions, see multiple surgeons. I was even shocked that I was just so sure that he was the surgeon for me that I felt no need to go anywhere else. But for most people, I don't think that's the case. And just for your own peace of mind, it probably would be better to see multiple people. In my case, I guess it was just like knowing you found the one, and it's just bam, that's just it, and you just go with it. And thankfully, things worked out great. I feel like I really did make the right decision on so many levels in choosing to go with him, because there was actually something that came up that I did not expect that made my surgery quite different than I was anticipating. And I think there's just so many things that I want to share about me going through that whole process that I'm not going to put in this video, because number one, it really does need its own video, and number two, I don't know if you guys are actually that interested. I mean, I assume probably most people are interested, but that's why I just wanted to shoot this first sit down video of just addressing that I got this done, because you guys are going to see me probably in this next couple of weeks, in a bathing suit. And that's when I knew that for sure people are going to know. When I'm just in my regular clothes, no, maybe most people wouldn't really notice a difference, but once you see me in a bathing suit, yes, there is a difference. So let me know in the comments, like genuinely let me know if me sharing more information about this is something you guys want content about. I do have a bit of footage from the day that I actually got surgery, so maybe down the road I will post more about this. At the end of the day, like, this is a travel channel, not a boob job channel, so I don't want to overwhelm you guys with content that you're not interested in, but maybe a month down the line or something like that, if you guys are interested, I can make a Q&A video, and I'll do a sort of vlog leading up to the surgery kind of thing, and tell you guys more about how the last couple of months have been, because it has been intense. It's been intense not only going through this physically, like it is not a simple recovery process, even though overall mine went very well, but this is still a very serious operation. And I would even almost say that emotionally this took me on a roller coaster, because this was something that I have just carried with me and feel weighed down about and felt awkward about. And when I initially came out of surgery, and you don't look fantastic usually when you first come out of surgery, you kind of look a little bit botched, and that's scary. It takes a while for everything to settle. So I had a lot of emotions. Over the past 2 months, and it's only been my friends and family who have known that I was going through this. So in the future, maybe I will share more. But that's basically what I wanted to say. I just wanted to be upfront that I got this done. I think when you are somebody I'm not obviously in the public eye, but I'm, on YouTube, I'm on a media platform, and I always think it's strange when people in those situations, of course it's totally different if you are not, I think it's strange when they almost deny that they've gotten, all this kind of stuff done, because it does set up an unrealistic expectation that this is natural and that nothing changed. So I didn't want to be that person, because not only do I think that's weird, but also because I genuinely am happy. Like, I genuinely am glad I got this done. I don't think I have anything to be awkward or ashamed about. I think there's a very big difference between, getting a few procedures done that really are, important to you, to your confidence and to your self-esteem, than basically becoming an addict to getting procedures done because you never feel good enough. Like, there's a very big difference of why people decide to get plastic surgery. And at the end of the day, that really is for every person to decide. I don't think you should ever let other people's opinions on anything really sway you on something that you feel truly sure of and coming from a good place with. Like, it's your life at the end of the day. But having said that, one last disclaimer that I would like to share from my own experience, take it or leave it obviously, is that I am glad that I waited until this age to get this done. I know there's a lot of people who just graduated high school and are getting boob jobs or rhinoplasty or liposuction, like all of these things that are genuinely serious procedures that should be given a lot of thought into, not only in the present moment, but what it might be like down the road. And a lot of people, I think, get stuck in the mind frame of, this is something I'm uncomfortable with, this is something that I'm going to change, this is something that is currently trendy, and they really go into it with a very short-term mindset. This is a very serious decision to make that not only should take a lot of time into researching, to shopping around with different surgeons, and also actually having the money that you can afford to spend. The other thing that I would recommend is that this is not a situation that you should be cheaping out on money-wise. Like, you should be able to fully afford this whole procedure. I would even recommend, paying in full if you can, like saving up the money ahead of time. I know a lot of doctors try and lure people in with like a payment plan and all that kind of stuff, but I think for a serious decision like this, you should have the money set aside. It doesn't hurt your finances, in any other way, and you are paying a good amount of money for a very good surgeon. Like I said before, if you guys are interested in more details, I can tell you how much, I paid, why I decided to go with the surgeon that I did. But basically, I paid like top dollar in Ukraine. I paid basically for the best of the best in Ukraine. But for reference, that's on the lower end of what it would cost to do in Canada. So in my opinion, I think I got, top skills for a very reasonable amount of money if I'm comparing it to the prices that I would pay in North America. But that's not going to work for everyone because, as I said before, the reason that I'm not going to give my surgeon's name on here is that while he overall spoke fairly good English, most of his staff did not. So I wouldn't really recommend anybody who doesn't know Russian or Ukrainian go to that clinic, because you wouldn't be able to fully understand what's happening at all times. And I just don't think that's a good idea. Like, if you're going to get surgery overseas, make sure it's an accredited, well-reviewed clinic where you can easily communicate with every single person who's going to be helping you on the journey. So that is it. I think that is all I have to say on this topic, guys. Like I said, this is just an update. It's just an update. Like and subscribe to my travel channel. This is just, one little element of my life. Nothing dramatically really, has changed in other respects. I'm still the same person that I was before. I just have bigger boobs now. So that is it, guys. All right, I'm just gonna sign off. Hope you're having a fantastic day and keep being your own kind of beautiful. Bye, guys.